Good morning, everyone. Bow our heads for a word of prayer, please. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for another great day in your world. Ask you to bless us forward in our decisions that benefit everyone in Union County. Watch over us and guide us. Let everyone get home safe today. All these things we ask in Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lance, would you do the roll call, please?
Commissioner Harville, Commissioner Pitts, Commissioner Miller,
Here.
Commissioner Bierstedt,
Here.
Commissioner Gould.
Having a quorum, I'll call the meeting to order. I'll turn the meeting over to Lance.
At this time, like every first meeting in December, we will take nominations for county board chairman. So,
I nominate Max for chairman.
yeah, all right. So we'll close that. Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Abstain.
Commissioner Bierstedt,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Miller, yours.
All righty. Thank you guys for your confidence again. Open up the floor for nominations for vice chairman.
I'll make a motion to Kent Pitts, fill that position.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
Abstain.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Bierstedt,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
Okay, first item, approval of minutes. First of all, before I do that, wanted to congratulate Commissioner Gould on his reelection to his seat, and to Commissioner Bierstadt on his election to the seat. Glad to have you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. I believe that.
Approval of minutes, had the regular board meeting November 23rd. Everybody had a chance to look at those? Any deletions or additions?
Move to accept as presented.
I second it.
Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Bierstedt,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
We also had a special call meeting, November 28th, to do the final approval of the budget. Everybody had a chance to look at that. Any additions or deletions?
Move we also accept that one as presented.
Second.
Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Bierstedt,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
Okay, moving on, public comments. See anybody public? Except Jeff. Well, yeah. All right, committee reports.
Well, Max, I had our hoop meeting last night, and this is some of the latest stuff that's coming out for local tourism. Thought I'd bring that, let you guys look at it. And it's actually quite nice. And we had one grant application last night, and it was from the Volnut Cross. And we had the acting executive director, Jenna Burnett, come, and they're requesting $5,000. And that's for advertising and promotional events for the year 2023. And there's several two-day events in there which will satisfy the whole concept of the hoop committee, because you have to have events that are overnight, which people stay all night in Union County for the next day. which motels and hotels, that's what the tax is all about. So anyway, I just want to run the numbers for you. So, this last year, they estimate that they had, on the blessing of the bikes, they had 3,000 bikes up there that day. And on the blessing of the Jeep Day, they had between 700 and 800 Jeeps show up for that event. So it is a major draw for the county and tourism. So anyway, we did approve the application to be sent to the committee, from the committee to the county board for final review and approval in the future. So
Good deal. Appreciate it. Anybody else?
Yeah, I want to get an update on animal control here, give the county some figures on what we've been doing out there. As of November this month, we have brought in 28 animals. And that's either through return from fostering or picking them up off the street. We have moved out 26 of those 28.
that's good.
And then for the year, this is from 11/15, when that department head took office, we have brought in 240 animals so far this year. And we have actually brought in 260 animals this year. So far, it's counting this too. And we have moved out 295. That remainder of that was left over from the previous administration. We moved out some of her animals. And we moved them out either through rescue or adoption, different programs like that. And I've got the reports on the Department of Agriculture here. They come out, they do surprise inspections of our facilities. They're actually the boss of animal control. And we've got all good reports for the whole year with minor violations. And that's all I got to say.
That's good.
Good deal. Appreciate it, Kent.
And again, I'd like to make a motion that the report from the USDA be part of the minutes today.
Yes, thank you.
Good.
I'll second that.
Does that need to actually voted, or are we just gonna, I mean,
I don't think it actually
Yeah.
gets voted on. I mean,
I'll include it though. It won't be a problem. I just need a copy of it.
I'll bring you, I've got them all.
anything else? Building permits, we have none today. Nothing under old business, new business. First item, approved payment of bills. Everybody had a chance to look at the bill list. Any questions or concerns?
Is the question, it seems a little longer than normal. Did we miss a meeting?
No, it's because that we just had our year end, so any bills that need to get put into fiscal year 22 that just ended have to be in by December 15th. So this is everybody getting all of their bills turned in, calling vendors that haven't sent them bills, so that's why it's so long.
I'll make the motion to pay your bills.
I second that.
Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Pearson,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Next item, B, approval of township road name. Paul Alman, would you like to speak to that, please?
Good morning, I've got a little handout. First of all, thank you guys for serving our county like you do. Use of your time. I was a volunteer for a group many years ago to build a new courthouse. And doing that, we met several times. At one point, we thought all was lost, when one of the county officials said, well, we can't come up with any government money, and this is doomed to fail. And I brought up the idea that there was a sales tax that was coming out, and we could use sales tax to pay off a new courthouse. And about that time, Judge, in the courthouse, the rain was coming in so fast that he was moving papers trying to keep the courtrooms going and so forth. We used all that one that we could at that point in time. And, the committee followed my suggestion, and of course, you guys know the outcome of that. I was invited to the commissioning of the courthouse, and thought I would be named as one of the key members involved with it, and maybe even a name on the plaque. Well, the plaque came out and it says D. Heilman. I tease Dwayne Heilman all the time. That's for Dwayne Heilman, not for Doug Heilman. But, I tell you all that to say that I've been involved in county governments in a small way, but I know it's very, very important. And one of the ways is the EMS and the police and the different services that we as people get. My grandfather has lived on the farm in proximity of Kimmel Cemetery Road for about 60, 70 years in his lifetime. He died at age 91. My aunt lived at that same residence, and she died at age 91. I hope to be there at age 91 myself, and that's the reason I'm here today. Grant Cable, I found out his last day of work, suggested that I be sure and talk to the commissioners about this, so that's why I'm here today. Provided you a brief map, and one of the county officials gave this to me to help in the presentation this morning. And I've tried to talk with 911 people, the road people, Jeff Denny and his group. Reason I retired was my memory, and so I can't remember the name of the lady involved with 911. Is she here? Crystal. Okay. Crystal helped me with this map and everything. And so if I can kind of describe the problem, my Aunt Emma had to be picked up and taken into the hospital at one point in time, and the ambulance basically couldn't find her. And this map will demonstrate where the problem lies and why I'm really here today. My map is colored and yours is not, so I have a little advantage on you, but if you notice the white letterings, those are official county road names. And the bold black letterings are the residence numbers of the 911 addresses for the area there in picture. And so as you travel down Boyd Road, you're traveling south along Boyd Road, and you come to an intersection after the S curve, which is a Y of Kimmel Cemetery Road. And there's a couple small arrows by the Kimmel Cemetery Road Y. And if you notice, there's a straight ahead road that has no name. There's no white lettering for that straight ahead road. But you notice that Kimmel Cemetery Road will turn to the left and go east in the county. And if you travel down Kimmel Cemetery Road, about 2.9 miles, you should come to my address, 290 Kimmel Cemetery Road. And that's the black lettering that you see just south of Kimmel Cemetery Road. The address is really not on Kimmel Cemetery Road. It's on a public road. The road is found on the county maintenance map, but it has no name. And this has been the problem. The ambulance comes down that road and they get 3/4 of a mile down the road and realize we can't find 290. And so they're on a 1-lane gravel road. Daryl's picked up on some of these things. You may have to go a half mile to find a place to turn around and come back. And so that's the real essence of the problem here today. I've talked with Angie a little bit about the naming of the road, and I've talked with Mr. Gould about it. And so our family has been on this property since basically Illinois was a state. And our patriarch moved into the county just south. It would be down on this Mission Chapel Lane. I grew up along that road. My roots go deep in that area and in this area. And I'd love for you to name this unnamed road Heilman Farm Lane. I'm the only resident along the road, and the family has been there a long, long time. There is a street in Anna named after the Heilmans, but many, many Heilmans in the community, and it's kind of a legacy or a heritage for our family to be there. and we plan to continue to be there many, many years. I do understand there's a policy about that naming, and if you're not willing to name it Heilman, I've suggested Heritage Lane or a Legacy Lane, one of those two names is possible. So, are there any questions?
I don't have any questions, of course, I think Angie made you aware of our policy on using people's names. We had problems with that before, so we actually can't do that. But either one of those other names, if you just tell me which one.
I think Heritage Lane would be a good name.
Yeah. Okay.
That's where Emma lived, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
I picked her up for a long time.
Oh, yeah,
Need a motion on that?
I don't know why it was never named. I talked to Mr. Denny and he said it is a county township road, but it doesn't have a name.
Well, and granddad and grandmother never thought it to be an issue. They knew where they lived. But, that is it's just a one, the history behind it, there was a through road there. If you line up Mission Chapel Road down below, you see the white lettering. That road went all the way through. It's one of the oldest roads in the county. It was named Road to America. If you know Pulaski County, it was a road from the port of America up to Jonesboro. And so that road has a long time been there, but there was a bridge and a creek there that just gets wider and wider. And finally they had to abandon the bridge. And of course, then close the road from each end. And if it serviced the community from each end of the road. So that's why it's there. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I make a motion, name Heritage Road.
I'll second it.
You want a Heritage Road or Lane?
Well, Lane.
Just Heritage Lane in general, right? Not Heritage Farm Lane, just Heritage Lane.
Heritage Lane.
Yeah, there's just one house back
Okay. Commissioner Harville,
there. Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Bierstadt,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
Next item, approval of agreement with Pictometry International. You want to address that any?
Well, I wanted to make sure y'all didn't have any questions. I know you'd approved it, and I appreciate that, but I didn't know if you had any further questions about the agreement. It's the same agreement that was signed, the same thing that we did 6 years ago. Now we're just at the end of our 2 cycles, and it's time to renew it. I believe y'all went with the better resolution,
Yes.
and that's the only difference in the contract price.
Anybody got any other questions about it?
Make a motion to approve the agreement.
I second.
Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Bierstadt,
Yes.
Mr. Gould.
Yes.
Next item, approval of contract with Southern Illinois Asphalt for St. John's Cypress resurfacing project. I think this was presented by,
Yes, this came from Jeff Denny. It's for a hot mix asphalt job in Dongola. It would be on Cypress Road from west of the interstate to Old 51, and then on St. John's Road from Old 51 to where the asphalt ends, basically tie in to where the asphalt already is.
So, pull up together.
Yes.
any questions, anybody? I make a motion that we approve the contract recommended by Jeff Denny, our road commissioner. Seconded.
Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Bierstadt,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes.
Next item, resolution supporting the continued operation of the state's attorney's appellate prosecutor for the fiscal year 2020. And this basically continues what we have been doing so forth.
It's the same price. It's still the $7,000. And basically by approving this, you allow them to, they come in and help us when we have special cases that we need to have a special prosecutor, and then we don't pay them when they come in. You pay this as a one-time amount.
I make a motion, we approve the resolution supporting the continued operation of the state's attorney's appellate prosecutor for the fiscal year 2023.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Mr. Pitts?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Bierstadt?
Yep.
Mr. Gould?
Yes.
Next item is resolution for maintenance under the Illinois Highway Code. I think this is just basically, again, housekeeping that we do every year. Assuming nobody has any questions about that. I make a motion, we approve the resolution for maintenance under the Illinois Highway Code. Second that.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Mr. Pitts?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Bierstadt?
Yes.
Mr. Gould?
Yes.
Next item, resolution requesting consent of the Illinois Department of Transportation to the transfer of county motor fuel tax fund. Again, this is housekeeping redundant, but we do. There's nothing particular about this.
Nope, you do it every year. We don't always make the transfer. This just allows Jeff to make the transfer if he needs to, from county motor fuel tax to county unit motor fuel tax. So basically from one fund to another fund if he needs to do so.
I make a motion, we approve the resolution requesting consent of the Illinois Department of Transportation to the transfer of county motor fuel tax fund.
I'll second.
Mr. Harville?
Yes.
Mr. Pitts?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Bierstadt?
Yes.
Mr. Gould?
Yes.
Next item, resolution setting the salary of the county engineer. Do you want to address this, any engine?
It's the salary that's already in his contract. I mean, he signed a 5-year contract, I think.
Yeah.
So it's the salary you've already approved, but you have to do this resolution every year and it gets sent to the state of Illinois. And this is how they reimburse us for 50% of his salary. So you have to tell them what his salary and benefits are. They don't reimburse us for his benefits, but they reimburse us for 50% of his salary.
I make a motion, we approve the resolution setting the salary of the county engineer.
Second.
Mr. Harville?
Yes.
Mr. Pitts?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Bierstadt?
Yes.
Mr. Gould?
Yes.
Next item, resolution appointing members to the Union County Hotel Operators Occupancy Tax Board, otherwise known as HOOT. I'm going to make a motion, we table this for the time being. We do have one person resigning. Until we get in touch with everybody and make sure there's no other vacancies on there, so I'm going to table that for the time being. We need to vote on that.
You can just table it.
Next item. Resolution appointing members of the Union Alexander Joint Emergency Telephone System Board. Since the election and starting a new year, certain office holders, certain department heads were supposed to be on this board. You can look it over and see who was approved here. A couple of them terms up also as far as individuals on the board, public member on the board. Anybody have any questions looking at this? Did talk to Grant, Cody did, and Cody would like Grant to continue to serve on the board. Normally it would be the ambulance director, but, I'm gonna leave him on the board, so. I make a motion to approve the resolution appointing members to the Union Alexander Joint Emergency Telephone System Board. David Wilkins as sheriff, Grant Capel as the ambulance director designee, Matthew Landon as 911 Public Safety Agency, and Steve Hartline as a public member.
We've already spoke to all of them and everybody's fine to stay.
Yeah, I serve on them also.
Okay.
I'm already extended to 24, but for some reason, this got overlooked to extend these people
Gotcha. Okay.
a while back. And we're also losing the Alexander County representative that's been replaced. And so that appointment will be made by Alexander County shortly.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve this.
You want to second it, Max?
Second, yeah.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Bierstadt?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?
Next item, employment agreement for chief deputy sheriff. You guys want to address that any at all, or?
You received the contract. It's going up or whatever.
It's a one-year contract.
Yeah,
It's basically the same contract as before.
Yeah,
Fine with me.
just extending Bart's contract for a year. So, any questions or any of you?
I move to accept it.
I'll second it. Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Bierstadt?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?
Yes.
Thank you. How many years will this be, Bart? Total? Total here, total in law enforcement.
Just total here?
I'm in my 21st year here. I'm working on my 28th year, all
Altogether?
over, including my aunt at the time.
Glad to keep you going. Glad to have you.
I'm glad to have it. Hey, Randy, wow.
Next item, Union County holiday schedule. Again, this is housekeeping. We do it every year this time. 14 holidays. And
Yes, there's 14 holidays. It's the same 14 holidays that are in all the collective bargaining agreements.
Max, it's not listed as a resolution on the agenda. I just noticed that, so you're approving a resolution.
Anybody have any questions?
You know, while we're on holidays, when exactly will the next board meeting be?
That's the next resolution you're gonna be
Oh.
approving.
I make a motion, we approve the resolution setting Union County government's holidays for the 2023 calendar year as provided. I'll second that.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Bierstadt?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?
Yes.
Okay, last item, Union County Commissioners meeting date schedule. Again, this is housekeeping, we do it this time every year. Anybody have any questions about the schedule?
Can I say so? I'm incorrect. You're asking when the very next meeting is. That meeting is, I believe, Wednesday, the 21st, because the 22nd and 23rd are holidays because they get off Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and since they fall on the weekend. Or are we off Friday, Monday?
We're off Friday, Monday.
Friday, Monday.
It's Thursday, the 22nd.
So then it's the 22nd.
Thursday.
It's Thursday, the 20
Thursday?
Yes.
Thursday, the 22nd at 8:30
Okay, gotcha.
here.
I'm gonna-
Because we're closed Friday, the 23rd.
That one closed.
Yeah, and we're closed Monday, the 26th.
Why, thank you very much.
That makes sense now. I know what you're saying.
Make a motion, we approve the resolution setting meeting dates for the Board of Commissioners of Union County, Illinois for the same on second and fourth Fridays at 8:30 unless a holiday gets involved. Our special meeting. Second.
Commissioner Harville,
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Bierstadt,
Yes.
and Commissioner Gould.
That's the longest agenda we've had in months.
Went through it though.
Yeah. But it went fair and good and pretty quick, so. I don't think we have anything for executive session. But, other business.
I've got something very, very brief to say. A couple weeks ago, it was reported that the animal control out there was out of food, which they may or may not have been. When I was out there, they wasn't out of food. But I did visit out there and I donated a couple of carts. I don't know if you noticed to the animal.
Back there every day.
Yes, and they're nice carts. They're fairly new. They're big and they got built-on lids and they got wheels. And they hold about, I don't know, 150, 200 pound per cart. And they're pretty much mouse-proof, you know. And so the good thing about it is they can be wheeled out of the box trailer over to the vehicle and then loaded up and they won't be carried in and out and they just be wheeled right back in, you know. But while I was out there, I did notice some things that, I don't know, since you're out there all the time, you may not notice. But, when I'll admit, I'm not out there that often. But let me tell you a quick story. This last year, I went to the mailbox. I always clean my gutters, always clean my gutters. I got a letter out of the mailbox from my insurance company saying that they was gonna cancel me out because my gutters hadn't been cleaned yet. Okay, yeah, I hadn't got around to it, so they was gonna cancel me out. So I'm out there around animal control and I'm looking around and I see all the high weeds and some, I don't know what is in these piles of debris around this out there. But from an insurance liabilities problem, you know, not Department of Ag, I mean, I see the potential for some problems out there. Somebody stepping on a nail or potentially getting snake bit because the food, even if the food is stored, the food is in the bowls, which attract the mice naturally because, you know, living in a country, we've always had these problems. But my thing is, it needs a little bit of work in that department out there, trimming and just picking up a little bit. Because to tell you the truth, if our county insurer gets wind of what these conditions are out there, I'm afraid we'll be having the ambulance department come out there for a snake bite or something bad. And it's nothing to be taken lightly because copperheads are dangerous. And right over the hill from the animal control is Kaolin Pond and the entrance to Iron Mountain and Pine Hills and yada, yada, yada. There's rattlesnakes as big as my leg. There's copperheads as big as my arms. And the habitat around the animal control is just conducive to that. And I think that we need to take care of that before it does become a problem.
Well, I'm going to address you, Commissioner Harville. I appreciate your concern. Once again, I'm going to tell you, I don't appreciate your social media posts. Just from the mere fact of reading it and not knowing anything about the situation. It was interpreted as somebody out there got bit by a snake, which is totally false. I do understand that's not the best of facilities out there. That's why we're progressively and hurriedly trying to get a new building up. And that will cure a lot of the problem. Until then, we're limited on what we can do and can't do out there. It's not the best
I know.
picture, and
I know. Would the board be open to a volunteer event out there to clean that up out there a little bit and trim the weeds back and things?
I don't,
Maybe in the spring.
I mean.
You know, I'm around with all the buildings, I do all the weed eating, I do all the yard mowing. I mean, I don't see a problem out there myself, you know.
Here's the thing, the
So
spring
all
is
that
when
stuff's gonna be out there, we're gonna be breaking ground out there Sunday.
I know,
Hopefully soon.
I don't, my thing is,
I don't think it's that big a mess out there personally.
if we wait till warm weather, that's when the snakes will start moving. You know, so you have a window of opportunity here, a
We
couple
live
of
in
months.
southern Illinois, there's always gonna be snakes.
That's true.
I keep that grass mowed, I keep it weeded around there. We're in southern Illinois, a snake can pop up anywhere. It can be in this yard of this courthouse, it can be anywhere. I'll address that when that comes.
So you don't wanna,
No,
okay. Is that for you too, Dave?
I agree with Kent. You know, we can worry about everything. We can worry about the snake issue is a concern, but again, we're so close to getting the architect approved to get the building constructed, you know. Spend a lot of resources and time. I'll have to look personally closer to see what, nothing has jumped out to me that concerns.
So are you concerned about the insurance company coming out there and say that,
I'm concerned about any insurance company on any issue.
you know,
You know, that's the
it's
way, you know, we've had that for decades out there. I mean, the way it is, and not to say that an animal couldn't attack us at any time, being a raccoon or whatever.
well, that's another big thing, is an insurance liability, you know.
You know. Right,
Anyway, that's all I have to say.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Any other business? Motion to adjourn.
make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Bierstadt?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?